Good morning.
Three's Company, guys. Three's Company. Yep. And Joe, guess what? The audio works. So that's good news. Yeah.
And no black screen.
And we can see stuff. So we got. Yeah. Yeah. Geez, dude. Roundbrush is putting it on thick early, saying, I hope Joe's on today. He's so dreamy. Yeah, dude. Super dreamy. Roundbrush, let's hang out, man. With that kind of flattery, I'm in. Dude, what even is that? What even is it? Hey, Joe.
Oh, they're saying they can't hear Joe.
I think your microphone, no bueno, my guy.
Sorry, guys, my bad. Yeah, I didn't have the microphone on. So that means you didn't hear anything I said.
He's back.
That means
just
no one
applauding ourselves for the audio working. And then
oh, that's funny.
Ben and I were on.
Yeah, I was showing everybody the studio.
We were like, you know what? Three's a crowd, man. Joe, just go away. Jonathan and I are just gonna have a little chat here.
Oh, that was my bad. Yeah, you know it's funny. While the microphone was off, I was actually telling you that it's embarrassing the simplicity of the things I miss in keeping track of all the things. Point in case. That's it. I'm sorry, folks. But hey, this is the value of a live. You know, if this wasn't live, I would have done a whole video that way. And then I would have put it on the editor and said, I just wasted 2 hours making a video for nobody. So it works out.
Yeah, that would change everything. We totally.
Yeah, man, come on. I got to
get paint a rainbow today, or what are you going to do?
Yeah. This is you know, this was from a workshop, something someone painted at some point in a workshop, and so I'm going to paint over the top of it. It's just a practice board. I love painting on, you know, no insult to whoever painted this, but I like painting on trash. Yeah, it is trash. This, what I was saying about this.
Can you throw it to the old triple screen here with the crowd? Everybody seems to be confused about what in the world is going on.
We got Jonathan and Ben. Ben helping out today. Yeah, that's my bad. You know, when I came on, I gave context for what's going on, but it was useless because
nice to see everybody.
Yeah. If you guys were listening when Joe was silent, you would have known what's going on.
Dude, that's my bad. So it's got to be very frustrating with, you know, coming on to my show wondering if I'm going to do it right. You know, you're like, oh,
it doesn't work. It's like, hey, here's a couple dudes and I'm out.
Yeah.
Enjoy the show.
Well, that didn't work. See ya. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Okay. This was last live stream. I was just giving a little context. We were doing some water and fire, going through some crazy background and working on gradients and edges. Gradients and edges is what I say. Everything is, look at me like a teacher pointing with my brush. Don't. I didn't mean to do that. So gradients and edges, I think is what everything boils down to. Everything visual comes down to those gradients and edges. Jay gave a great suggestion to paint a rainbow a long time ago. You know, several live streams ago, several weekends ago. And
you chickened out.
Yeah, I was like, rainbow? Oh man, come on. Another rainbow. No, I kept forgetting. I kept forgetting. So we're gonna do it. There are some real helpful things. So the struggles. Jonathan, have you ever tried to paint a rainbow? I know Ben hasn't. Maybe he has.
I believe I've tried to paint the rainbow, and I don't remember it very well, so it must have gone how it goes for everyone else.
Yeah. Trauma. Yeah, trauma makes you forget. I've heard.
I buried that memory.
Yeah. So I said it on the last live stream. You know, I had a client once that said, I suggested a rainbow. So they said, we don't really like rainbow paintings because they always look fake, you know, which was a good insight. You know, they traditionally look fakeish in paintings. I'm sure there's paintings of amazing rainbow. I'm sure people have done it well, but I want to talk about how you can make sure you do it well. So there's a few valuable things to remember along the way. I need colors. You know, you need colors to paint a rainbow. Can you imagine trying to paint a rainbow in a black and white scene? I'm so curious.
Dude, I'm excited because I have absolutely no idea how you're going to manage this. This is fun. This is like one of those times where I'm like, Joe's probably about to fall flat on his face in front of everybody. This is gonna be great.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch.
But that is what I'm here to do. I'm here to keep it honest and fall on my face.
Yeah.
If that's what must happen.
Like, you got a black and white rainbow up your sleeve?
Dude, that would be so amazing if somebody could pull that off. A black and white.
I think Joe could pull that off. I think he knows the values.
Right?
My bet is on Joe accomplishing the rainbow today.
I would cheat. For a black and white rainbow, I would cheat. I would simply go and convert rainbow image to black and white and just study the values and then use that. But my prediction is that, get this is going to be a really intelligent thing. You would not see the difference between the colors in a black and white. That's my prediction about a black and white rainbow.
Yeah, it wouldn't look great. It's a bad idea, round brush. Don't give us so many bad ideas.
There'd be values. You know, the middle value is the brightest. The yellow in the middle is the brightest value. So that is priority number one. You could actually mess up the
he
colors.
said the reds would be darker, is what.
Well, that's valuable insight. The reds are indeed darker. You know, when converting to black and white, or I think visually reds definitely tend to be darker.
Joppa Cat says they once took a picture of a rainbow when the colors were in reverse. Is that even possible?
What? Because when the rainbow doubles, the second one is in reverse. So
that's true. Yeah, it's a weird phenomenon to see the.
Yeah, that's true. I know, and I only learned that recently. I only learned that because I just something I never paid attention to before was because I don't see double rainbows too often, so you don't think about it.
Yeah. Bob's Weird in Glendale. Bob's Weird. That's a fun name to say. Bob's Weird.
Yeah, right. Are we pronouncing that right? We never are, really. We never do pronounce usernames
Bob's Weird. It's like Bob.
Are we supposed to try to pronounce them right? I thought we were doing this on purpose.
Like
no, it's right. You give it your best effort, and that's what makes it good.
Bob's Weird. Bob's Weird.
Bob's Weird. Is
so
it white?
Reaper said, odd that we're having this conversation about black and white rainbows because just yesterday they were talking about how to draw rainbows with graphite.
Oh, really?
Dude, that would be so hard. Man, I'm tempted to go for the colorless version before. Now that the subject's been brought up, it's tempting to try to go colorless before adding color to it. All it would be is it would just be a bright arc across your sky scene or whatever it is, and the middle of that arc would be the brightest, and it would just get darker as it goes out to the edges of the arc. That would be the black and white version. You would not see any stripes in the rainbow. You wouldn't see that. I think
looked up black and white rainbow, and it looks like they're all coloring book pages, like just clip art, apparently.
You found some clip art? Oh, that's so.
I found some clip art of a black and white rainbow, and it's just black lines around each.
Okay,
that's how you do it. Nice harsh line.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna put in a vote that black and white rainbow is dumb.
Yeah, right. People will be like, "Yeah, I showed up to check out the Mural Joe live, and they painted a rainbow. Get this, he painted it in black and white."
Like he did it, and sure the math checks out, but
Yeah. That guy is so inside of himself. He just wants to think through puzzles that are stupid.
very goal oriented, that little Joe.
I
Yeah.
think it's the not being able to turn down a challenge.
It's like that would be kind of like doing push-ups just to do push-ups with no goal in mind, you know? Is it like just because I just want to do push-ups and that's all? Is it that'd be the
Reaper's got a friend, they say, that is a little bit on the spectrum, and he spends 45 hours on a single drawing increments of 2 millimeters at a time.
Whoa. So we really enjoy it. You know, that's gotta be that's gotta be, you know, like an enjoyable play.
Precision.
Yeah, right. So I think I can relate to getting lost in a process, you know, like it's just, I'm just going to dive into this detail and I'm just going to be parked here for a long time, tune out the world. I definitely can relate to that, you know, but not at that extreme. That is a far extreme that I don't share. All right. I'm just doing a gradient, you know, we got a sky going. I don't know what's going to go in this sky. We got to put a background to put the rainbow over. Don't recommend the other way around. I don't know. Maybe it would be okay now that I think about it. Maybe doing a rainbow first and then painting the background. That really is what I'm going to do. I'm going to paint a rainbow in a very crude way and then use it as a map to fine tune fine tune the details, fine tune the colors.
Are you going to do a double rainbow with that brighter spot in the center and the darkness between the two rainbows and the whole?
Dude, you're already trying to make it as hard as possible.
I'm trying to make it as inspiring as possible.
As inspiring as possible.
Bring out your full talent here.
Hey, all right. Well, we can give it a whirl. You know, one thing I can guarantee is I won't nail it if I do that in the timeline that we have. But
That's true.
I have a hard time turning down a challenge. I think one of the most valuable things to understand here is how subject to mistakes I truly am. You know, like I
No, you're not, Joe. Don't say that about yourself.
art mistakes.
Hey, can you zoom in, Joe, on this thing? I like
I
your,
sure can.
your chunky strokes. I want to see them up close. You're getting a lot done in a little bit of time. And that's
Yeah, we're just putting together a gradient for sky. I add purple to it because the more turquoise blue, that real bright turquoise kind of blue is it resembles translucent underwater vibes. You know, it doesn't look like the misty glowing clouds in the sky. So as just a basic protocol, I'll put a lot of purple, and then you saw me put some orange in there. That was to just real quick kill the intensity of the blue. So adding orange to the blue, it just grays it. I could accomplish the same thing with blue, black, and white, you know, that I'm doing here with.
Hey man, what are your thoughts on leprechauns, Joe?
Interesting. Very interesting question. I think they're based on something true. I think the idea of
there's like a
leprechaun,
rainbow, and then there's this pot of gold, and
Yeah.
then there's this leprechaun chilling
Yeah.
with this pot of gold.
I think people in the world truly have seen tiny people in very paranormal experiences, and they built a story around. There's a narrative built around it that maybe is less than accurate. And I think the leprechauns are out there just chomping at the bit to let people know they're not obsessed with gold. They're like, we are not just all about gold.
Like, can we get some representation in the zeitgeist, please? We do not wear so much green.
Yeah, we don't dress like that. We don't wear gold.
We
Yes,
wear brown, we wear black, we wear white,
yeah,
and green.
yeah. So you know, that's my thoughts on.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I
leprechaun.
tried to chase a rainbow to find proof for myself whether there's
Ooh,
gold.
how hard did you do?
How frustrating.
Well, it turns out you can't ever get to a rainbow, but it's kind of like a good life lesson about chasing gold. Like,
Mm,
follow that rainbow for a long
Bro,
time.
oh my God.
True.
Whoa.
Such
dropping a bomb. Hold on a
such
second.
truth. Yeah,
Chasing
man,
a
I agree with
rainbow.
that. Yeah. What's that song? What's that TLC song about? Don't go chasing waterfalls. Is that the same
Go
thing?
chasing waterfalls.
Is that the
Stick
same
to
concept?
the rivers and lakes that you're used to.
Oh, but that is not inspiring. You know, those lyrics don't inspire me.
I
Who
know
wants to
that
do that?
you're going to something or nothing at all. Yeah, it's a song about it's like that other one,
Oh,
if you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
yeah, if you can't.
Oh,
In
boy,
other
that's
words,
wrong.
give it a
Yeah, this theme of like
settle. Just settle.
you know, perfection is an enemy of progress, Joe.
Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. I don't know if this looks darkish on camera, but the idea is that I'm keeping this dark. An important thing in painting a rainbow is if you are going to make a picture about a light, then with paint you got to set the stage with something dark enough to allow paint to look like light, because you can't make red brighter.
Yeah, speaking of
primary color is
darkness,
bright.
they're talking about moon bows. You seen a moon bow?
I
Black
did.
Sky?
Dude, our brother just sent us a photograph driving to work at 4 a.m. or whatever it was. Did you see that, Ben, on the family conversation there? He said,
Yeah.
dude, a real moon bow. That was the first one.
That was unbelievable.
And it was
I wasn't
not
on this chat. How do I get on the family chat?
Jonathan, what
I'm
were
working
you
my way
doing?
into the family here. I'm on the live stream with the brothers. I feel like a brother now. How do I get on the family chat?
It is
Yeah.
interesting, Jonathan. I think we must be from a similar lineage, because I don't know too many people that have the stamina to talk about such nonsense for such duration of
Yeah,
time.
we might be related and we just don't know it.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of chasing rainbows, it's kind of like our conversation, you know, like the dynamic between us brothers, just like FYI or TMI or any acronym you choose. We're just like, it's not that we're trying to get anywhere with a conclusive line of thought necessarily over a duration of time. It's more like we're just basking in the joy of galloping after a rainbow.
Yeah, that's it. That
does sound like joyful though. Like if you're not worried about getting to the destination, like let's just
Yeah.
chase that rainbow for the joy of chasing the rainbow.
Yeah.
That's a joy.
Yeah, exchanging of ideas just because it's fun to do. Nobody's ever going to do anything about it. We're just going to exchange some ideas. Joe fooled around and sent me a political thing, a text message, and I spent the next 2 hours delighting in a response. That
Dude, that was an in-depth response.
Way too long.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really, but you know, that's what we do. We think about stuff.
It's just
When
fun.
you're-
Yeah, just fun.
Yeah. We like the sport of thinking, you know, and I've been diving into space-time theory on my own time.
Oh, jeez.
Because
Oh,
and
jeez.
I am not going to try to explain it or say I understand it. It's an interest. I'm qualifying it as
Yeah.
simply an
Yeah,
interest.
do it. Well, I'm there with you, so we'll put that on another show. But for now, Mavis is like, hey, if there are entities like leprechauns, then how does our personal filter interpret them?
I interpret it as a bend in space-time.
How does our wait? Let me understand that question. What does that mean as a personal filter?
I think our personal filter is like a poetic way of saying, like, you as a being through which the senses of the world are passing through, and
Yeah,
like interpreting them.
How's it interpreted? Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Right,
saw
that's
one,
good.
what would you think happened? What would you come across an actual leprechaun? How are you going to interpret that and describe it to someone else? What are you going to say happened there?
Dude, that's a great question. So you know, like, here's my theory. I think people, when it comes to paranormal, I think there's a veil, you know, for lack of a better description, a veil, you know, and on the other side of the veil is everything we don't perceive naturally or automatically or easily, all this non-perceived universe. And then when things bring it into our perception, I think it tends to be really individualized because it's like a hack in the system. I mean, this is just theoretical ideas, right? Just shooting out theoretical ideas. So something behind the veil hacks the system, makes us perceive something, but it's not following the perception principles that we are accustomed to. So one person may see one form, another person sees a different form, and then people are like, let's just not talk about it. This is too embarrassing. We never saw it. It was a bear.
Yeah.
It was a bear.
Dude, Reaper put is saying that there's a bunch of Bigfoot sightings. They were reading there were a bunch of Bigfoot sightings, and then they imagine that like most people's response to answer Mavis's question about how would your filter interpret the being or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like most people would run away crying is what.
Based on based on
like it
people's stories.
shatters your paradigm, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, the world no longer makes sense. And you know, people, when you hear people give their stories, that is the emotional battle they're going through. That is what happens, you know, so, which makes it all very believable to me.
Dude, paradigm shift is just rough, you know?
Yeah.
It is. It's a strange place to be.
Yeah.
All right, so here's food for thought. If you're gonna put a rainbow, you're allowed to break rules, okay? But this is a pattern of nature. If you're looking at a rainbow, you are looking down the line of the light that is causing the rainbow. So you're either looking away from the light source or toward the light. So it can happen in both directions. So you might see a moonbow that's making a big circle around the moon, or you might I took a photograph once. I saw a complete rainbow around the sun. Believe it or not, a circle around the sun, a complete rainbow. I got the photograph to prove it. It's in the direction, but you know, the thing we typically want to paint is this mist in the sky where the sun is at our backs. This is the typical scene, the common one, where we've got sun shining right on us. So I've put light and shadow on these clouds to have that look, just to try to capture the familiar sight. I'm not trying to say there's a right way to do this. I'm going to lighten my clouds.
Mavis wonders if the clouds should be more stormy with some rain for looking at a rainbow.
Oh,
I think the main thing is there's just got to be moisture in the air. There's got to be significant droplets of the lights.
I think that's a good point, but I'm going to settle for less than accurate as long as I can demonstrate. That is a very good point, because if you're doing a big scene for let's say you want to capture rainy day in Arizona, then those are really valuable considerations, you know, because you're wanting to represent an experience very well. But right now I just want to dive into how do we
the actual process, right?
Yeah, I want to capture how do we get that look, how do we get that rainbow look. So I'm just trying to set the stage with something that is a sky that's just dark enough in my best judgment. See that kind of greenish color on that blue I just put. So when I see that, you can look down here. It's not that it looks bad, but you can see a kind of underwater vibe. See how it has kind of an underwater vibe where it gets turquoise?
It does have.
So
to me, it looks almost like a reflection. Like that's the surface of the water reflecting the clouds above it.
Kind of looks like, right.
But so everyone in the chat is seeing Homer Simpson in the clouds.
Everyone, huh? Is that it?
It was the entire chat. Everyone. Well, there's two people, and I'm letting them represent the rest of the chat.
Homer
Simpson. You're not
Simpson.
going to believe this. Every single person. Homer Simpson down the line.
No one has denied it. So
Joe, people are lining up at my door right now, chanting Homer Simpson.
I think we found our
Homer
gimmick,
Simpson.
folks. I think we found
There's
the gimmick.
something going on.
Yeah, something's happening. An apparition of Homer Simpson. Well, I didn't do that on purpose. I don't have a love for The Simpsons. Boy, remember how amazing The Simpsons was when it first came out? I was dying for that day of the week when our parents would let us watch that. Am I the only one? I just was like mesmerized by that show. What happened?
I thought it was funny,
Simpsons?
but
yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know that I ever died for it.
You talking about Simpsons?
Mavis
Simpsons,
doesn't. Yeah, there's. Don't you see Homer Simpson in the clouds there, Ben?
Dude,
Everyone in the chat sees it, except for Mavis. Mavis.
I don't
Mavis
see it.
wants to
I don't
clarify
know what
she
it
does
is.
not see it.
Maybe this is
Well,
the
except for American Marcy.
Oh, I got it. Nose, mouth. I got it. Okay, I see what's going on here.
I feel like I see a little Chihuahua skull.
I know what we're dealing with. This. Let me show you why we're
Oh.
seeing.
We're
Get
turning
the
pages
whiteboard
here.
out. Get the whiteboard out. Quit messing around and just get the whiteboard out, Joe.
I'm going to show you just how much I loved The Simpsons. Okay. All right. Am I going to get a copyright notice for this?
Because I sing off key, so that was nowhere close to any copyrighted material.
Okay.
That was
There's
my own
my,
tune.
there's my. So Homer, I think
call that
Homer is.
tune the Flippins.
Oh
Flipsons.
man. I think this is what we're seeing right here. I think we're
I
seeing.
got an idea, Joe, for a show called the Flipsons. You want to hear the jingle?
I think that's. I think this is the image we're seeing right here. I think this is the. What was it? I think there was a little bit of this going on with Homer.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's okay. So this
Yeah, so
image.
you guys didn't know Meryl Joe doesn't only paint water.
All right. Is it there? Is it? Do we
Only
see?
that.
Oh,
Joe,
it's
we
the
wanted to
side-
see.
He's got the Flipsons up his sleeve on command.
We wanted to see your rainbow while you're on the whiteboard with the black pen there.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. We'll save that for a future episode. In the
Well,
far
yeah,
future.
Homer is sad because that's his character, and Bart is disturbed. These are both accurate assessments.
I never learned how to draw Barb Simpson, but her voice was
The-
money. That voice.
Cat Marie in the Woods says Danny Elfman would be proud.
Nice. Yeah, I learned.
Elfman.
I loved
Elfman,
the show.
Danny
You know, I was so obsessed, and I learned to draw the Ninja Turtles. That were, you know, I think Ninja Turtles was that same time. Well, Simpsons has a really long life. I mean, that's still around, right? I don't know, but I learned to draw the Ninja Turtles characters. And there's
All
one
right,
other
so
kid.
the Flipsons are floating around on a cloud,
Okay.
and the little one that sucks on the pacifier is pointing at a translucent rainbow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna put
Leprechauns
some light
at
in
the
the
end of
tree.
it
You know?
that wear more than just green.
Man.
We've got a picture coming together here, guys. Stick around.
We got a picture. Got a picture. Well, we got to set the stage. You know, I need something that looks like content. I think something that is easily overlooked is the importance of how you set the stage, context,
Yeah.
right? Isn't that true for movies too, Ben? Isn't that
Yeah,
kind of true?
absolutely. Yeah,
You know,
one of
you-
your first decisions is in what world does your story occur? And,
Yeah.
You know, it's nice as a writer if you put it in a world that people are already familiar with or have notions about. That way you don't have to use screen time trying to explain it to them,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know, I like to think about consequence. So, like, what is the practical consequence of ignoring that principle? Let's say,
Yeah.
nah, you're just
Confusion, which is lethal for an audience. You confuse your audience, they disengage instantly.
they're like, I don't know why I'm watching this. I don't know I'm exhausted trying to keep
They don't know what
track.
they're looking at. They don't
Yeah.
know what you're talking about. Like, imagine if somebody just walks up to you and starts saying some really confusing things. You know,
It's happened.
in one you out the other, and even worse, you're going to have an adverse response.
Yeah.
It's not just disinterest.
Yeah.
It's go away.
There's
You're
a little bit of
disrespecting-
confusion that pulls you in though, like where you kind of get what's going on. I've clicked on plenty of thumbnails that they kind of obscure what's going on just enough that you're like, wait, what is this? What happened
Yeah.
there?
So
Mystery.
I would label that as inference rather than confusion. You know, like that's probably a very skillfully crafted image that infers further story or implies promise of some sort, like mystery. You know,
Right.
Confusion. I'm not referring to as a lack of information. A lack of information. This is all just for the sake of clarification, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nonsense thinking here.
No, I think it's good. You know, the transfer is so important. It's something in media creation that's a very good general rule is the importance of setting a stage well.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, anyways, what you're, I think
you're right. It's having a mystery or a problem to solve. Having a question in your mind pulls you
Yeah.
in.
What you're
Which is not
referencing
the same as being confused. You
what
cleared
you're
my confusion.
referencing what you're referencing is very nuanced and difficult to achieve. You know, that's like something that is to be strived for. How do you tell somebody something simple and clear in a way that makes them ask many more questions and want to follow you into a story?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Which
right.
which is applicable in the visual arts as well. You know, like
Totally.
Joe needs to create a world that, upon first glance, within 1 second, the brain has calculated. I get it. What next?
I get it. I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And then people get into, you know, I feel like when it comes to composition, I am all about just going with instincts, falling into it. I have some basic principles. We've talked about the principles I fall back on for composition, but I don't feel educated about it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
But I think it applies to composition. I think composition is that stage setter that makes a person want to go deeper or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Absence of information is really effective, you know, to Jonathan's point. Like I strive for that, to be able to like not need to be so wordy or loud or, you know, big in order to achieve maximum impact.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like there's mastery and skill in less effort with larger impact. And I think silence around a sound achieves that. You know, blackness around a light achieves that. You know, void around a detail achieves that.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. Yeah. So it's like the importance of leaving enough to imagination, but giving enough to lead, and making sure that what you give to lead is not sending the wrong message. It's got to be that little bit. And I feel like that's one of the most valuable insights in my work, is that I don't have to kill myself putting all the details I conceive of. I can let imagination put those details in if I do the strategic aligning of what I do include. It's so like,
dude, you know that movie, this makes me, I think in movies a lot of time, you know, get it from my parents. But that movie,
I'm just cleaning my brush.
That Shyamalan movie with the aliens.
Shyamalan.
Signs.
Oh yeah. Signs? Is it Signs?
Yeah. And so there's this, sorry guys, spoilers ahead. There's a scene where,
pretty old movie.
Yeah, old movie. There's a scene where there's like this alien it's in the other room on the other side of the door in a hardwood floor situation, and the camera is just close up on the crack between the bottom of the door and the floor, and you just see these like alien claws kind of like scrambling and poking at the crack between the door and the hardwood floor. And this is like one of the first times you've ever seen any alien stuff. And when this occurs in the movie, your mind just races with all the possibilities of what in the world is on the other side of that door. And that grip, that lack of information, you know, like Jonathan was saying, it's just a little sliver of detail, but your mind is just like, oh my goodness, what I'm locked in. Now I have to, you know, it's effective. Withholding information.
It's because
how skilled would you say you're at doing that, Ben, in your work? How well do you achieve this nuance between giving the right amount of information and leaving them hanging a little bit?
Well, you know, man,
give yourself a score.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to be objective here.
I think you've done it very well. Very
essential.
Well.
It's essential for success, and what I try to do, like as a storyteller, you know. And it started as a musician. I think I suck. I'll preface this: I suck at a lot of stuff, Jonathan. You know, I'm very poor performing in some very essential elements here about life. However, I'm very good at reading a room, very good at reading people, very good at monitoring the tone, the temperature, the pace of exchange, relationships, right? So I use that professionally, I use it personally. And so ever since I was a rock and roll band, you know, like having to make sure the crowd was into it and I didn't just leave them behind and make it fool
Yeah.
myself,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I
Joe
think
is
you
also
get,
got the skill, right? You know, you got to be able to read the room. So
I was always bad
that,
at reading.
That
the room.
makes you regulate your pace. It makes you regulate the information you're giving, you know. So that's why.
I was always bad at reading a room, you know, and I still am bad at that because I can't get to the point where I'm undistracted enough to read it well. You know, I'm always
It's work, dude.
always
It is
distracted.
work. Yeah, it's such like hyper awareness. It's wild.
Man.
But check this out, dude. Speaking of reading a room, people are just chatting up a storm here.
Okay,
we
good.
burned that theme song into their mind. I'm sorry, everybody.
Which
That's
theme song? Bum, 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 bum,
No,
bum.
not that
Oh,
one. Not
okay,
that one.
okay.
Okay, and moving right along. They also saw like a puppy in the clouds. There was like a baby seal at one point.
Nice. That's when I feel like I've hit the mark. Making clouds is when people are seeing all
Yeah.
kinds of different images in them. It's like, all right, that's clouds. That is the
Yeah.
experience of clouds. So I did preface this with I'm going to paint a bad rainbow first. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the bad one.
Yeah.
And
And then,
I have to two-hand my brush because my hand. So, you know, it's a quick strategy for smooth lines. The right amount of pressure in trailing, you know, your hand can shake, but when you have those those bristles bent just so they stick to the canvas and you get a pretty smooth line. So if you're cutting in windows or door jambs, it's a handy trick like that.
Yeah.
So-
So Jennifer wants you to remember, Joe, it is Roy G. Biv. All right. Don't mess this up.
Don't get this. Thank you, Jennifer. Oh man, that's hilarious.
Jennifer, we
Thank you.
need that kind of focus around here, you know. with
Yeah.
these tangents and things going every which way.
We got
Roy G.
all
Biv.
kinds of stuff. Roy G. Biv. Well, we're gonna do a what I would say. You know, I don't want to insult anybody by saying bad job, but I'm gonna do one that is obviously paint and doesn't look so much like light. And that is
Lean into
because
the
of how
craft,
dark
man.
it
Lean
is.
into the craft. Nobody taking photos out here. You don't need this
Yeah.
hyper realistic.
Yeah, but right now, what I'm doing here is making a map. So this is going to be where I do my second pass of blending. So I'm going to put the colors in place because what that's going to do is let me not have to think about too many things at once, like giving yourself a grid or lines to color in. You know, I don't have to be looking at the curve of my arc while I'm trying to blend if I just get it in place.
Yeah, talk
Yeah.
about this arc right here, man. That is a pretty mechanical arc you're achieving with this very biological arm of yours.
Yeah.
How you
Well, I think of my, you know, my
like you got your protractor out, man. Look at that dude.
yeah. That is a good question. What is the real answer? You know, I feel like if I give an answer, it'll sound right, but won't actually be helpful or give the truth of the matter because it's something I practiced a lot. And when you practice a lot, I think you can become unaware of the
Yeah,
real
that is
reasons.
I'm just saying that is a smooth arc.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
When on big murals, I definitely think of my elbow as the center of the compass. Is that the tool with the needle and the thing that
Yep.
makes this a
Compass.
I think of my elbow as the center of that, and that helps me do nice curves. But then on the other hand, there's a part of me that I think just feels when the rate of curving changes. And so it's more intuitive with repetition. Like when you're just going along, you can feel your amount of going off course.
Yeah. Yeah, you like lock in the position of your
Mhm.
elbow and just
Yeah. And so then when I do a curve, it never comes out perfect the first time. Like that one, obviously I didn't like. It felt like the rainbow was too low in the painting. So I decided I'm going to bump that up. But then when you do a curve, that's why I'm doing this first with just kind of okay color, not great colors, is because I want to focus on the curve first, get the shape dialed in, and then come back. So you can see flat spots. We're so sensitive to curves. Like if I just do a little circle in here, we can very quickly see the flat spots on a curve. So my method to getting smooth curves for my work is getting a curve in place and looking for the flat spots. That's what I always do.
Aha, there you go. So you're not like hung up on every millimeter of progress. Is this the proper bend for this amount of distance?
No, that muscle memory and practice.
The rainbow. I'm not going to fret on the imperfections. Let me just get this dude out there and then go back.
And then go back. Yeah, it does come out nice on the reason it comes out nicer than some on my first pass is just because of muscle memory and practice. I think that happens.
Okay, so Lisa Joe is saying their rainbows always look fake. So like, how do you make this rainbow look real?
Yeah, well, I've started with the fake looking one so that I can do a good job of demonstrating that. So I'm gonna put the V in the Roy Jabib right here, and now this has a distinctly artificial, I will say artificial look to it because light is not darker than objects. Objects are darker than light. This needs to be flip-flop.
That bears repeating.
Yeah, we've got the values flip-flopped. I've got my rainbow darker than my objects that the light is illuminating. So do you remember?
Rainbows are not vacuums for light, guys. Rainbows
are
light.
But this creates a difficulty because we want bright colors. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush now because I'm going to go with some smaller detail. I've got my map in place. So now you have to make a compromise. You cannot have your beautiful primary red and have your illuminated glow. You can't have both. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen that way. And if we went online and looked at photographs of rainbows, we would see the photograph has made a compromise. It's made a compromise. It did not use this color for the red stripe of that rainbow because that color is too dark. So regardless of it being on a print, a photograph, things that programmatically keep all the colors in balance with each other, relative to each other, are forced to lighten these. So the red portion of this rainbow that I roughed in is actually orange. I use my orange pigment because orange makes a better light red than red does. Believe it or not, a reddish orange, I think, is a better light red. So let me give you a comparison. Watch this. So we'll go orange. This is just a side note, or we're going to do a little color swatch sample here. That's orange. I'm going to add white to it. Okay, now that's what I'm using for my light red on my rainbow. Now let's go to red and white and compare the difference. So if I do red here, and then I add white to that, so this is a more extreme change of value right here. So you can see how the red, in order to get it lighter, I have to add a greater amount of white to get the lightness. And then it has this kind of magenta pinkish look. Boy, we got something getting destroyed back there or what?
That's my kids destroying stuff.
All right. Just needed some context. Let it fly. It's good.
I need a studio, Joe, so I can
no, it's great.
Have the quiet that you enjoy.
No, we like the background noise. It's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is make sure that my colors get lighter so I need the small brush. This is not a fast process. There's a way to do it fast, but it will not look as good. So I'm going to start painting my cloud. Okay, and in this cloud, I'm going to start putting my lighter colors. So here is my light orange. So I'm going to put orange and white. Now what has to happen here is this has to be lighter than the clouds. It has to be. If it's not going to look right. So see how it's still darker? I have to compromise. I have to put this very light white right there. There. Now it has just become lighter than the clouds. And so now I'm going to put I'm going to start putting some values in there. So let's take the shadows and transfer them in. Let's take a teeny bit of orange here. See how this little shadow comes down from that cloud right here? Let's take that and follow that shadow.
Can Excuse me.
We've
man.
got
No, no, no.
shapes.
Let's look at that close up.
We got, oh, whoops. Oh, you want to get closer? Okay.
Yeah, man, we're doing some details. We're between colors on this rainbow. I want to
Yeah,
see some
all right,
deep-
let's zoom in. So we've got some real basic details, but I've got edges on my clouds. I'm going to make these clouds pass through my rainbow with the colors of the rainbow, so that we're doing a similar thing to that fire I painted the other day, where we're putting light on top of light. We don't want them to, light doesn't block out light. It doesn't do that. So we're gonna make these things overlap. Okay, now edge of my rainbow. This is why I need the map, because this would be overwhelmingly difficult without a map. I'm gonna put the light color of my cloud. I'm repainting it. The reason I'm repainting it is so I can get a blended edge on my rainbow. I'm going to take this edge and make this. Okay, we're live again. Sorry about that, folks. That was my
And
bad.
we're back. Totally.
Everybody
freaking out, Joe. You just
Nah,
freaked
that was my bad. That
everybody
was my
out.
mistake. Whenever that happens, just assume that it was like just a bonehead mistake where I just overlooked an obvious thing. With electronic devices, you have to plug them in,
It's all
right?
man.
Because
you give it to them, you take it away. You
Yeah.
give it to them, you take it away. You know,
it died. It died.
When that happens to me, the simple things become extremely complex in my mind, and I can't like the simplest thing. There's an email I need to send to somebody, and I'm like live on something, and I need to open it right then, and it's right in front of me, and I cannot read the title of the email to find this thing right in front of me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Man,
goes in
I
rainbow
relate.
mode.
I
hey,
relate.
Check this out. We were painting this rainbow, and you were
Uh-huh.
putting this cloud behind it, over it. What is this?
In the painting, I'm painting the cloud through the rainbow. So I've got my map, and I'm going to paint my background inside of the rainbow in order to preserve the overlap effect of light brightening, but still showing the gradients and edges. So Mavis had brought up a really good point that I think got stopped when the live stream went out, when my computer died. My computer. Yeah. Whose fault was that?
An earthquake happened, and
Dude.
that is beyond our control.
I didn't plug it in. That was my dumb mistake. I didn't plug it in, but at least we got the problem solved.
We're back, dude.
We're
So
back.
why
Yeah.
are white clouds darker than a
Yeah.
colored rainbow?
Great question. And so logically we call it white. I don't know if I'm repeating what already was said on the stream, because I don't know exactly when it crashed, but I was saying that we judge white. We don't have an absolute white, we judge it. And there's not an authority on what a true white actually is. So in a photograph, what we call white is not necessarily the lightest color possible. And Ben, you're well versed in this subject as well. You know, like, what are you calling white? We white balance because we have to decide what we're actually calling white.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So what I need to make sure is that what we're calling white for the clouds is not brighter than what we're calling pure light illuminating things on the rainbow. I got to make sure that my values get lighter. So I'm carefully analyzing. So see this spot here? That's where I have to sacrifice, because my white got lighter than what I'm calling red, but this red is made with orange. It's made with those right here. I made that red with orange and white. This color here. So I'm going to lighten that. The reason I use orange is because orange is real saturated and already lighter than red. So there's less white required to get it to the lightness you need. And there's also a natural effect, for whatever reason, of things kind of bending toward, when you add white to reds, they kind of get a little bit more magenta, a little more pinky magenta looking, as though they're moving.
But do you have
toward
to
the-
adjust all the other colors then, since you're shifting red towards yellow?
No, this is-
shift.
No, this is a trick for you just getting a light red. It really is just specific to the getting.
Like, what
nice-
does orange become? If orange is red, then what's orange?
Orange looks more like red. Yeah, exactly. When you lighten an orange, it tends to look. Now it does depend on the pigment, so don't mark my words. But if you're just aware that can happen, when your red comes out washed out looking, you can change that. Okay, so now here we can go to the yellow part of my rainbow, and I know where it is. So this really helps my this really helps me not to have to think about too much at a time. So I'm going to go yellow next, and here's where yellow is a light enough color that I can really get super bright with this and still get a nice vivid look. But I would say take a look at how vivid and colorful this still looks, even though I'm washing these out with white. So I'm following my edges, the edges of my object, whatever it is. It could be a house. I chose clouds because they're simple, you know. All right. So I'm bringing the values through that, just suggesting that they're there, just artistically putting those through like this. We're going to go like this, put some yellow in the rainbow. Then I'm going to try to smear it enough that it doesn't look like it's just a cutoff, and yellow will overlap this real light. I'm kind of glazing the yellow over the red so that it makes a gradient. There we go. See, now we've got something that looks like natural light. We got a nice bright rainbow, and like I said, they have to compromise. The colors have to compromise. White has to be added. You have to get rid of the saturation. But in the end, it looks so vivid. I added so much white to those, and look how much it glows still. And that is because of the stage being set.
Okay, do green next.
Okay, green. We're going for green. So we're going to go yellow. Yeah, you know, I could use a phthalo. Let's get a real bright green. I don't use this one too often. It's one of my favorites. Second to magenta.
I don't remember Phthalo in Roy G. Biv.
Where's Phthalo? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We got the color police on board. Okay.
Roy G. Biv.
I don't remember any Phthalo.
Roy,
What are you trying to do? This one it's separated, I think. This is a very vivid blue-green, phthalo green. So it's going to make the most intense green that I have available. My most intense option. Yeah, so it's a very good subject. I really appreciate Mavis bringing up the how do you still call it white if other things are lighter? And that is
right. Well, you know, like if I'm filming somebody on a white background, which is often, you know, the background is really only white if I blast it with the most light in the image. Like if I hit it with more light than I hit the subject, then it becomes white. Otherwise, it's some shade of gray.
Yeah.
Go all the way down to a very, very, very dark gray, almost black if I want. You know, if I put no light.
Okay. Right.
So a white object is only half of the equation. It's actually the white object with a bunch of light on it.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Yeah.
So you take the light away, then you have some sort of a gray object.
Yeah. All right. This has to be white. I have to add a lot of white to this. That's very good.
Right,
good
switch
answer.
up that camera, Joe. We are tired of looking at you.
Oh, sorry. My bad. I went up and I was. That's all right. You got oil on
all
right. Thank you for telling me. Okay. Thank you, Ben. Oh, so I'm putting the green on.
Palette.
Now I'm doing the green just like I did the yellow. I can't be married to the idea of that primary phthalo green going in my rainbow. It's got to have a bunch of white added. It's got to have so much white.
So Reaper says true white, the center of the sun.
True white. Yeah. Well, if the sun is in your, right. It's just the brightest light in the picture, and I always try.
Reaper, unless you are underexposing, you know, like closing it way down.
Right. You know,
point remains. The sun is usually the brightest thing in any picture. Absolutely.
That's right. Yeah. So if I'm doing a painting, I try to reserve. I don't use pure white until I get to what is my brightest light in the picture. That's the important part. Like, what's my brightest light in the picture? And that's what I'm saying it for. Okay, here's blue. Phthalo blue. It has a very turquoise kind of look. And so I'm going to blend this. Lots of white, just like the others. Lots of white. Because it doesn't need to be primary to be perceived as a vivid glow.
Yeah, that's working, dude. I'm feeling that cloud intersection.
Thank you.
Have you two ever looked at the sun through a telescope that has a light filter on it?
Sun telescope light filter.
The light filter just makes it so the sun doesn't blind your eyes.
Okay. I
Wall
got
of
it.
fire.
You don't really even need to magnify it. The sun is so large in the sky that as long as you just filter that light out so that it doesn't blind your eyes, you can actually, there's quite a bit of detail you can see just as it is without really much magnification. And there's quite a bit of detail. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah. You're talking about looking at the sun?
Yeah, looking at the sun. So they have
that sounds
filters that
awesome.
only allow a single wavelength of light through the filter. And that reduces the total light from the sun enough that you can
Dude,
look
that's
straight into it
awesome.
through a telescope. And you can see the sun flares and sunspots and all kinds of things going. This like bright white beam that always blinds you. You can actually see all kinds of character and things going on.
Giver
on the
of
surface.
life. It's like
That sounds cool.
looking at the great destructive yet life-giving force.
Yeah.
Life giving and life taking.
I feel like we underappreciate what's going on out there, guys. John, why don't you pull that picture up, dude? Show us a picture of this dude, like what as you're describing it.
Yeah, you can share your screen. You can share your screen, and I'll.
You want a picture of the sun? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that image you're describing with the exposure reduced enough to where you see the texture of the sun. I think it's taken for granted by myself and most people that that thing is just there is a suspended ball of fire right over our heads, guys.
Dude,
right over our heads.
It's an amazing thing. Yeah. I agree.
I feel like
I
we
agree
just
with that.
walk through life not acknowledging that there is a massive ball of fire
Dude.
suspended nearby.
Yeah, it's
I just searched it on my laptop, but I'm connected to you guys through my cell phone. Let me search it on here.
You know, my thought on that is that everything becomes normalized to us. But that doesn't make it unamazing. Right? That doesn't make it not amazing. It's just that we have calibrated to accept it as once it becomes expected, it doesn't matter how crazy it is.
Because you can't move through life if you're constantly transfixed with the novelty.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like it is so crazy.
Yeah.
You know, relatively crazy. It's a lot of sensory experience.
Yeah, right. Which kind of describes us in a lot of ways, like a family gathering of ours kind of struggles in that way.
A crazy sensory
experience. I'm just high on this idea and I got to tell somebody about this thing. Have you ever thought about this? Have you ever thought about it? Dude. Yeah.
I'm blowing your mind right now.
Yeah, it just kills. Okay, so I have a problem here. See, so this is the nuance of it. I've got a purple that is darker. You know, I love that vivid purple, but it's not an option. Sorry, not an option. It's darker than what's behind it, so it has to go. You see, so I have to lighten that whole thing. It's got to be altogether lighter than what is behind it. So there's two.
I shared my screen of this.
Oh, we're gonna check it out.
Check it out, man. That's cool.
Hang on, I'm gonna share that.
And then also Soul Play 99 says we lose our curiosity when we start
cool.
naming things.
Let's solo Jonathan.
This is a bit more zoomed in, but you
yeah,
can imagine like if you could see the entire sun, that's the scale you'd have. So not this like little corner that they're showing.
Joe, what do you think about that statement? What do you think about that statement? We lose our curiosity when we start naming things.
Okay, man. That's what Ben's got on his mind right there, that sun. Okay. Lose our curiosity when we start naming things. Is that what you said?
Yeah, that was an idea from Soul Play 99.
Huh. When we start naming, yeah, I can relate to that. I find that very relatable because we categorize in order to have familiarity. Like there's very practical purpose in it. So we categorize, but then in that process of categorization, it's the unknown becomes the known, and we move on to we move on to other things, right?
Yeah, right.
And I feel like every amazing thing eventually becomes unamazing, and it doesn't matter.
Tyler McDonald is saying it's like space travel today. Back in the 60s, 70s, everybody was interested.
Yeah.
Today we have another trip around the moon upcoming.
Yeah, whatever. It happens.
Really,
Yeah.
people just take for granted we are not paying much attention.
That's it. Yeah. But you know, it kind of feels like it's the way things have to be at the same time. You know, I don't feel like it's something I should complain about.
Here's
Just kind of weird, a weird phenomenon, right?
Yeah,
Like a
Reaper
weird thing.
says if tomorrow the sky turns green and red, for 2 years everyone will be talking about it nonstop. And then it'll be back when the sky changed. That's the way we'll talk about it. Y'all remember back when the sky changed?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
what are you doing today?
That sounds like COVID. Sounds like
Yeah, totally.
it's a
Everything.
marker in time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, you know, you bring up a good point. Everything just kind of normalizes, and when you categorize it, I think it expedites that process.
Well, Soulplay 99 arrives at this sort of like depressing conclusion. I'm thinking here.
Oh.
Then all we see is the name, and the magic of reality is lost. Yeah, it can be tempting. It can be tempting to just have the name, the definition we've assigned to a thing, be all conclusive of what we think this thing is or what it's capable of. But it is important to make room for our own ignorance, and things will surprise us. We'll learn things.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
Well, you know, like I don't think just reminding yourself is a bad thing. Like, you know, it's not like it has to be that. It's very good realization that naturally happens. But it's kind of like, to me, that's kind of like saying, we sit still, we get out of shape. It doesn't mean that exercise is not an option, though. You know?
Yeah.
Hey, so if anyone wants to share art, send it to share@muraljoe.com.
That's it. Send it in. Okay, I'm gonna move down and draw some trees through my rainbow. Paint some trees through my rainbow.
Yeah, share share@muraljoe.com. He's gonna get to it soon because he's running out of time.
I'm running out of time, folks. So this is good because we can compare the part of the rainbow that looks decent, I'll just say decent, with the part that does not. You know, because I'm not going to be able to finish the whole thing. And perhaps that is an important discovery in this whole thing, is that you have to be careful about choosing to do a rainbow. It takes time to do it well. Maybe there's no way around that. So trying to do a rainbow as an afterthought may not be a beneficial decision. Maybe that's a...
Yeah, hey, Lisa Joe is talking about Y2K, man. You remember that?
Dude, all the computers were going to reset and we were all going to be thrown into chaos. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. And there were people buying stuff.
And then it went by and everybody's just like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah,
It never moved. Actually,
it's pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. 2012 was supposed to bring the end. You know, the apocalypse was supposed to happen in 2012.
How quickly
Mayan
we just
calendar.
accept. We're like, oh, okay, so this is the way that it is. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, the sky is red and green. Oh, all right, interesting. All right, moving on.
Moving on. Yeah, right. So that's a fascinating phenomenon there. It is a thing.
We had enough pollution and fires one year in California that the sky was yellow, and it stayed yellow for a long time. And I was like, man, this is really sad. I'm gonna have to teach my kids why the sky is yellow instead of teaching them why the sky is yellow.
It's not gonna go back. Yeah. There is that thought you have sometimes, like, are things ever gonna return? Some things don't return. You know, a big change comes and then they don't. It never goes back. Are we ever gonna see another day when people when there are no face masks in the there's always going to be people face masking now, you know, not to no insults intended. It's just, some changes stick around forever.
Well, I got used to the face mask. Like before COVID, you see someone in a face mask and you're like, oh dear, what do you have? Should you?
Yeah. Why
like,
is that?
What are you going to spread here? Is that face mask enough? And then after COVID, it was like, I kind of appreciated, oh, you can wear a face mask and not get everyone else sick. And that's okay.
I don't know. And then
but it's gone back to where I see people in face masks again. And I'm going, what do you have? What are you doing here?
What are we doing? Yeah. So, you know, mixed feelings on that for sure. Hard not to have feelings. It affects us all, but that is the pattern. That's the pattern. So here's my tree, the edge of my tree. I used orange to continue my edge through the lights. Now I'm going to use yellow to continue the edge through the light. Once again, pure yellow right here, just right there. And then I'm going to put white on top of that yellow to continue that. That cloud is lighter than the tree, right? So that's got to be lighter than that tree line right there. Add lots of white to my yellow. This is the lighter part. And I think something that stands out is my license to do a messy job. See how when the value, I didn't do great blending, but because the values are starting to hit the mark, it's okay not to not have the great blending. So it kind of takes the load off of trying to get this perfectly blended rainbow. You know, you might be under the impression when you're painting a rainbow, like, oh, I don't have the soft blending of it. And I'm going to say that's probably not the main issue. That's probably not the main thing that's going to make or break your rainbow is the blending quality.
It is amazing how bright your rainbow looks now where you did the cloud coming from behind it compared to what you had originally painted, which was the brighter colors, but they had that lack of white light coming through them.
Yeah.
And now they look so bright.
Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here's a white cloud. See, there's a white. This cloud is the lightest thing passing through that area. So I'm going to make sure this yellow. So it's a value exercise. Here we're getting our values through these colors to match up and tell the same story. Everything's going to be telling the same story. I might have to do another pass on this because my colors got kind of muddy as they're blending together, but it just further proves the point that that's not the most important thing. Okay, we're going to take this green down, blend that into the yellow as good as I'm able. Put that green, that's our next color, really blend that in. Okay, I got the color. Next step is appropriately lightening the color. So let's make this area right here, top of a cloud. Lighten that at the top of the cloud. This still has some green in it. It's not pure white. I'm doing a greenish white. Bring that over here. Do I have any other light edges? Not too many. This is pretty solid. But right there, that one can be a little bit. Let's get a teeny bit of primary color and put the top of the trees right here. So this is going to be fun when I get into the trees because I can actually use closer to primary colors when I get in there. I'll stop after I get into the trees, and then we'll just
after you get into the weeds a little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I did kind of say that. Yeah. We're getting into
You're welcome.
them.
You're welcome.
We're kind of getting into the trees here, folks. You know, let's keep the priorities straight. All right, we're putting some white on my blue now. I'm going to lighten this up right here, making sure my sky is lighter. My rainbow adds light. It does not subtract light. So that is the key component that we want here.
Okay, reminding you guys, share at muraljoe.com. Share. Like what you want to do, share.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Send
you want to
them
see it? I did see one. We got one submitted from. I'm not going to say who did it because I'll say it wrong. And then I'll be embarrassed. But someone did send one in. I'm going to look at it. Purple is my next color. So when I have an edge, so here's a little tip. You know, if you end up referencing this video later, like, wait, how did he do that rainbow? You can stop at edges. You can focus your blending from an edge to an edge. And it lightens your mental work because you can, you know, like picking a block that's going to look fine if the paint dries and you can't blend it. So I'm going to this edge. I'm going to this edge. I want to lighten my purple to where it needs to be lighter than the background. Let's get a nice light purple. Rinse my brush. Make sure that I don't accidentally get yellow on my purple and turn it brown. I could have done less purple in my cloud. See how purple these clouds are? So I was a little bit off in my calibration of how to stage my background. So that'd be a good adjustment, is to take the clouds and make them less purple for the sake of letting the rainbow be the most purple thing in the picture. Because purple is having a hard time here looking like a bright color at this level of white. You know, at this amount of white added. But
I feel like purple in a rainbow, when you look at it though, is always kind of the hardest to see. It's
yeah,
more faint than the
you're
other
right
colors.
about that. Yeah, it kind of disappears visually easier than the other colors.
Because the rainbow doesn't really like. There's not a hard edge, even from red or purple to from rainbow to no rainbow. There's not even a hard edge. It kind of just disappears.
Yeah, you're right about that. Let's darken this cloud just a touch so that we can see. I'm going to strategically darken the cloud. Blue, orange. Let's get some colors in here. That's a little on the turquoise side. Let's add some purple to it. That's a little bit too vivid, so let's just throw some yellow to kill that purple. Here we go. There we go. Now we got a cloud shadow. It's going to let this. It's going to let that rainbow glow right there. And do that. We can add some white to it. You know, we might have been a little bit greedy with the yellow. We maybe put too much in there.
Dude,
There
I'm
we
gonna
go.
call this a success, man. That rainbow is looking translucent.
All right. Yeah, that's the idea. And you know, if you capture.
See that tree line there between the tree and the sky? That's working.
Nice, thanks. You know, I feel like if you capture light, Thomas Kincaid was on the right track. You know, prioritizing the capturing of light makes everything else very forgivable. Everything else that you miss, you know, it's like the imagination has a good time looking at it if you capture light. As it seems like to me, I could be wrong about that, but that's the way it seems. Seems like that's like the first thing that we look for is that experience of looking at light. Just like Ben, you know, tripping out on the sun. It's like it's light, man. It's the source of light for the entire planet, and it's
It's
glowing
not lost on
fire.
me, man. I look at the surface of the ocean, and then I'm like, is nobody else seeing this? Like, look at
No
this.
one see. Yeah, and I
Like,
feel the same.
Look at
Yeah,
this liquid. What is liquid? Look at the surface. What is this matter that wants to stick
Yeah.
to my body after I touch it? You know?
and then you want to like spend a long time talking about it and analyzing it, and people are like kind of burn out on that subject, bro.
Yeah, exactly. like,
Yeah,
like, dude, are you just gonna be talking this whole time?
yeah, you're tripping. You're tripping. Yeah, exactly. Okay, now I'm gonna put purple.
You should paint the ocean sometime, Joe, with some waves and.
Nice. That's a great idea.
That's a
That's a
decent-
great idea.
Decent idea. He would
Yeah.
probably struggle. I don't know. Stick to your.
I think it would do well on YouTube. Waves, water, you know. My prediction is it would do pretty good on YouTube.
Can you do an underwater rainbow next time?
Whoa, does that exist? I say no. Oh,
No,
seems
you
like
can
it
make
might.
exist.
Seems like it might be able to exist. You know, you do see rainbows projecting through the water onto the ground. I have seen that because the caustics that change the direction of the light through the ripples, you know,
Right. So you get some caustics that are spreading the
separates.
light
Yeah,
and get-
separates the different colors, and then it projects it onto the floor, and that looks pretty awesome. That's a thing. I haven't tried to capture that before. I've never tried to capture that. That is a very difficult subject, I think.
What have you not been able to capture? The caustics or
The combination of the slight edge rainbow effect along with the rippling caustic. It's a lot of things combined. So the multitasking I find difficult.
yeah.
To try to get both of those things well.
But you wouldn't turn down a challenge, would you, Joe?
I wouldn't turn down a challenge. No way. No way, Jose. I would not turn down a challenge.
Hey, Tyler says they're pretty sure there are underwater rainbows at Bikini Bottom, just as SpongeBob and Patrick the starfish.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
While we're paying for intellectual property today.
Yeah.
Those are
Jonathan,
fake rainbows,
can you
though.
sing
Come
that-
on.
Good point.
Can you sing
Good
that
point.
tune, Jonathan? You happen to know any SpongeBob?
Man, I've got it in my head. I don't know if I have it well enough to sing it though. Like
Theme song? Are you being
who lives in the
serious?
ocean, the bottom of the sea.
Yeah. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants.
Wait, I thought we're doing our own tune here. I don't know what you're doing, Joe. We're trying to not get
Oh, I missed the
Joe's
context.
trying to get food. Man.
I know YouTube's gonna be like,
Sponge Joe Round Pants.
That's it. Sponge Joe.
I see. We're reinventing. I missed it. I'm sorry. Distracted. I'm gonna put the
We're
distracted.
just trying to
button.
protect your channel. That's all.
Thank you. Yeah, it is true. You know, the
We're trying to help
algorithms.
train AI. We're trying to help train AI. We want it to know that you know about these things. You know,
Yeah.
So we got to talk at length about it.
Dude, it detects that stuff right away. You know, it's like nothing gets past that detector. You just barely hum a song, and it's like this
I'm sorry, I
this
just
video
said the
has
magic words.
copyright issues.
5 minutes to go. I said the magic words. My bad.
Dude, come on, give me a break.
Anybody send anything in? Let us know.
Yeah, there's stuff. I'm gonna quit right now. Okay, there's my yellow. There's my green. Okay, there we go. This is very rough, but you can see the idea. You see what's going on here. I'm just fine tuning the values, passing through the rainbow, making sure. Just to recap, in case anybody tuned in late, you're wondering what is the purpose of this live stream. It is to demonstrate how attention to these values. Final thought. This is Joe's final thought.
Final thoughts.
Attention to values may be a lot more important than attention to color. Okay, that's it. Okay, so that sounds like doesn't that sound like something pertaining to like races and people and judging? Attention to values may be more important than attention to color.
I suppose out of context that could be good.
Yeah, they're like, wait, what is this show about?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would love for the edges of this to be more softly blended, but you know, the key component here is one thing at a time. That's what you have to that when it comes to these difficult concepts, and this is difficult. You know, if you have a hard time painting a rainbow, welcome to the club. The limiting your battles. I want this edge to be blended, but I know that I can tackle that on another pass. So, you know, like I'll work on these gradients now, I'll work on those gradients later. So here's my rainbow so far, a little bit crooked, but at least it looks like light.
Yeah.
At least it's at that point where it looks like light, you know?
Okay.
Do you concur, Ben? Do you concur? Does
I
it look
concur. I concur. I like
you
how the values are darkest. The rainbow values are darkest when it's over the darkest foreground object, and then incrementally lighter as it goes back. And
Okay.
when it's against the brightness of the sky, it is the most white.
Yeah, I didn't totally miss the mark on that, right? And you know, that's what I'm looking for. A little bit of
Catherine in the
validation.
Woods says, "Wow, it's coming together," and Mavis says, "Cool," and Jennifer says, "Nice," and Zoe, you 4 up, says, "Hi."
Hi, welcome. Good to have you here. Yeah. You know what's funny, Ben? What do you think? If I was
Hey, zoom out a little bit. Mavis wants a little wider view. Let's see this bad boy a little wider view.
let's get this. Yeah. I'm gonna zoom out. There's the whole picture. That's edge to edge canvas. Right there. See the context is starting. We'll just say starting to look more complete now, right? So the more I get, so this is a little by little process. Let me just give a little bit of advice before we switch to looking at pictures. It's a little by little process, and so it gets easier the more that gets developed, the easier it gets to fine tune because it gets to be more obvious where you need to put your little adjustments. For example, I can see that I need a brighter orange where this light tree passes through. Right there, I need a brighter orange. And so anywhere these don't have to be super well blended. You can just kind of water down the paint and do the old wet on dry trick. You know, just kind of glaze it over. There's a light spot in the orange. This looks like a light spot in the orange. Make it lighter than the orange that's passing over the shadow.
Joe, now in retrospect, having gone through this now, Leanne wants to know, would you use the same process or would you modify it?
I would use the same process for sure. I would. Yeah. This is one that this is a process I've had to struggle with in the past. So this isn't just kind of shooting from the hip. A lot of times I am just saying, I'll try to tackle that. But this is one I've had to wrestle with. And this is to date my best method. You know, this would be my, you know, my best chance
That's
at
why they watch.
getting-
That's why they watch that live stream, Joe, for that new.
Yeah, yeah. See the chance of failure. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Time to quit.
yeah,
We've got our.
Cat says never would have thought to see the background through the rainbow. So cool.
Yeah. All right. Good. Because the goal is that is a very good observation. The
Yeah.
goal.
Tyler says they feel like it still follows your concept to paint the shape and then work the details in.
That's it. You're right about that. Very good.
And then Reaper's saying, Joe, what do you think about getting references? Do you think that gathering many references in the subject you're painting is cheating?
No. I think references are fantastic. You know, it's like, are there any rules in art? Like, do we even do art to follow rules? No. It's the rules are there to help you accomplish your mission. So if you're asking me, so photo references is the story of my life. I look at thousands of photos when I'm trying to understand patterns. The way I choose to use the photos is learning the pattern and trying to reproduce something similar, kind of like AI does. Is Joe even real? Guys, is Joe even a real thing?
No, dude.
He does this AI trick, right? Okay, we're going to look at pictures.
I think one rule artists should follow is don't plagiarize. Don't steal someone else's work.
Don't steal someone else's work. I agree with that. So
don't sell your work as a Thomas Kincaid if it wasn't actually from Thomas.
Yeah, right. There is copyright issues with photo references,
Aside from
right?
that, you can break all the other rules.
Yeah. So if you're just reproducing something on your own wall, yeah, like I agree with you, Jonathan. That's a good point. So I just meant like, it's a great learning tool, great process for learning when you look at photos. All right, we'll look at this. We got one from Jonathan sending birds, but that is old news. That is old news. We're going to look at Joppa Cat.
That's really old news. I've got newer news than that.
Do you? Yeah. All right. Well, not too many other people are sending stuff in. This is Joppa Cat sending in some really nice 3-dimensional snow on trees. Good shadow light. Looks amazing. Man, I like the look of that. Check that out. Very nice. Okay, so why does this look so 3D? What do you think? What is it that makes this really stand out and look 3D? Because it does, in fact, look very 3D to me. Deep background. Look at the lightning branch. It's kind of wispy branch. It kind of looks like my eyes are going out of focus a little as it goes further back.
The change in level of detail helps it to look more 3D as well.
Yeah. Love the bluish hue to the shadows. Very nice contrast of color touch where like skylight is getting that blue illumination. Beautiful work on this. Man, I really like that picture. I mean, I wouldn't even suggest any improvement on that. I think it's beautiful. It's just really great picture. Really nice. It's highly stylized. While being instantly recognizable, it's highly stylized. It has a very
Sounds like it might be frozen again, or maybe that's just one person saying that.
Oh, I think the live stream is still cooking along.
So good.
Okay, yeah.
Looks like it's on your end, Joppa Cat.
Yeah. Okay, but thank you. We want to know when that happens. Man, this is really beautiful work. So
I like all the different hues involved that I wouldn't thought to use all those, but
yeah,
makes for a very nice image.
I think it would look cool to include that. This is really beautiful. This blue color. You know what I would do to this? You know what I would do to this picture? You know what I'm gonna do.
What would you do, Joe?
I'm downloading it.
Tell him, Joe. Tell him. Hey, while you do that, I gotta check out. Everybody, it's good to see you.
Hey, good seeing you, Ben. Thanks,
Later,
Ben.
Joe.
Hey, we got
Hey,
Jonathan on board.
with you. That's fun.
Yeah. It was good to be here with you as well, Jonathan, and
whoops.
everybody here in the chat.
We don't want that. Okay, good. See you, Ben. Thanks a lot for your
See you,
help
Ben.
today. It's real good. Good time hanging out. We're gonna upload this file, and this is gonna be JoppaCat's awesome work here. Looks so good. I just want to see what something looks like. This is not a correction or an improvement. It's an experiment. I want to do an experiment with your work. Okay, because
This
I
is
love that blue zone.
colordriver.com, right?
Yeah, that's right. You can go to this at Color. I'm doing it locally on my machine. The exact same app is uploaded to colordriver.com. You can go there to test it out. Tell me how it works. So we can change the color, and I'm going to take this. I'm going to hold my finger on that spot. You can't see the mouse moving, but I just held my finger on that spot to get that color. I'm going to hit this use button. And then what I'm going to do is make that color more purple. How can we do that? Let's take this color and go maybe right there. And then maybe go, I just want to add, let's take the gray and really get some color. So I don't want it to compete with the snow, but I want it to look bluer than the rest of the tree because I think it'll just be a cool look. And this is just for effect. It's not because it should be there. You know, it's just something to add effect. And maybe I'll lighten it a little bit too. Let's go a little lighter. Let's see what that looks like. So what if I came in here and on the underside of these, I've made a small line, and now I'm going to take a line and go right on the underside of this branch right there. Let's see what this looks like. If I go in here, I'm just making a purple line right there. Maybe do a little bit in here. Wherever I have those dark shadows, I'm going to move this up and do a little bit here like this.
So the idea you're experimenting with is taking their hue shifts even further and just adding more.
Yeah, exactly. Because yeah, exactly. I find it so attractive that I'm just saying, well, this is something that we could imagine seeing, even though it may not be in a literal photo reference. Whoops, that was a mistake. That little thing popping up on the screen. You know, maybe that little bit of purple can add a lot to the. What if we lighten it a little bit more? Yeah, there we go. We're just the essence of a little bit of backlighting on the shadows.
So JoppaCat says this is their view from their bathroom window. This is what they painted it based on.
Dude, this is awesome. So this, I'm sure that coloring is not in there, you know, but I just wanted to see what it looks like because I love backlighting shadows. I love putting a color on the far side of a shadow on an object so that it's, yeah, that's hard to see. I don't know that it really added a lot, but it's something that I would probably do in my own painting just for effect. You know,
I think if you were seeing this painting in person, it would have the effect you're going for.
Yeah.
When you show it on a computer screen inside of a live stream, it's harder to see.
Yeah, well, it's subtle. You know, that purple I put on is real dark. It's real dark.
Yeah.
So you could, you know, let's experiment with making it lighter. Let's go like this. Let's keep bumping it up in lightness. Let's say the snow is reflecting some light up, ambient light coming up and hitting the lower edges of these branches. Let's do one there. Let's do one right here. Put one right there. Sound effects help. Yeah.
We're getting sound effects from you touching the screen. It's like a jiggling.
Oh, you can, yeah, you can hear that. My fingernail bumping on the screen. That's funny. That's funny. All right, let's put this little bit of light in here like this. Maybe we'll kind of blend that with my blender tool. It's fun to tinker around with this. All right. Well, that's my thought. You know, that little bit might add a little bump of contrast. I'm also curious about what would this look like? What if we entered the edit mode? Well, it's going to go completely white and mess up is what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Never mind about that. I guess that's a bug to fix. All right, that was a fun project. Thanks, JoppaCat. Beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. I love that. Okay, we're going to move on to another one. We've got in here also, oh, I didn't know we had so many. Tyler has got this one that says, This is my new progress I started this week. There's a lot of history behind what's going on in this picture. I will share that probably when I'm done. The hardest part for me this week was that brick building. Fortunately for me, the bricks on that actual building really look that bad in real life. Yeah. All right. Good. Hey, nice job, man. Great brick building. And let's click on the picture. Go to full screen. Okay, that's nice.
Is this a train station?
Yeah. You got a train. I see that you got a train coming by. We have an old train station in our town too. Kind of an iconic, classic looking train station. All right, I like this, Tyler. Nice work. Your sky looks beautiful. Very nice gradients. That tree, excellent. Good perspective on the building. Really sharp. I'm not gonna say anything about the bricks because they really look like that. They really do look like that. I like the shadow down here. That's cool. The effect of the shadow going across. It was very nice.
Yeah, it seems like there's a texture on the sky that I kind of like, but I can't tell if that's painted in or if it's canvas creating that texture.
I don't know. It's very nicely blended though. Real beautiful sky. And the green of the grass, excellent work. That green looks like on the money. Really nice green on that. The kind of grass I want to walk on for sure. Okay, thanks for sharing that, Tyler. Excellent. I want to see the update. As you progress on that. And then we have also from Jennifer Pratt has an email here. Not liking was in the black. Was the back. I was in the back. I'm not liking it. I'm not liking the was in the back.
I think she's saying the waves in the back.
Oh, the waves in the back. I see. It says a little typo there. Okay, got it. Thank you, Jonathan. Not liking the waves in the back. Okay, let's check it out. Let's see what we got. Beautiful colors. Man, I love the sun blasting through that.
I see why she's not happy with the waves in the back. The waves in the front look so good.
It's the comparison. Yeah.
I got these front ones looking so good. Now I've got to spice up the waves in the back.
Right.
Look at that gradient in the wave right there. That's awesome.
Dude, beautiful. Okay, let me help you out with this. Okay, so here's what happens with waves. Your colors are just beautiful. I'm not going to talk about your colors because you did a great job with those. So we'll just talk about wave anatomy and perspective a little bit, and we'll adjust a few things. All right, let's take this and download it. There, this picture. Download, go to the app. Let's put it in there. And we're going to put this here. Let's set that image right in the middle. Now, the high spot. So you're looking at all this tumbling white water. And I just want to point out how we have a couple things going on. The white water just follows the shape of the wave, tumbles down here. So what physically happens on waves is the high spots fall over. The high spots do the most tumbling, and then they fall forward. Now, since that's the case, it's not common to see the same amount of white water way up high as you're seeing down low. So what I'm going to do with that in mind is I'm going to take your dark color. I'm going to swatch this color. Let's just use that. Let's use that color. Whoops, I didn't use it. Forgot the part where you push use with the check mark. Okay, let's zoom in on this. We're going to go like this. Okay, let's make the line size a little bit smaller, like this. Okay, I'm going to fill this in a little bit. Okay, we're going to make not so much white water tumbling, and I'm going to curve the perspective just a little bit. Notice how it appears to waves tend to have a little more curve. You have the slope showing, like right here. I'm going to draw on the front so you see. You have that slope telling us that we have a little bit of a side view, but so this is a point where if you add a characteristic to a picture, it has the potential to do damage. So this is making your perspective look a little bit flat. So we can take the lines and just curve them a little. All you do is just add a few lines in there. It's not a redo. We're not talking about a redo. We're talking about just a slight adjustment on curve of the lines. We're just going to do a slight adjustment that shows these waves to be curling a little bit more so that they kind of meet the surface more gradually. We'll get a little bit more perspective on that. Now I'm going to bring this up and we're going to make this shadow in here. We're going to bring this over. And this wave is going to be not so splashy right here because it's going down. When waves go down, down, down in height, they don't get splashy, you know, when in size, when they go down, down in size. They don't get more splashy as they decrease in size. They get more splashy as they fall over. So we want to diminish the amount of splashing. Right here, we'll do a little bit less white. Here, I'll cover it with your shadow color. And I'm going to borrow your really brilliant illuminated color right here, like this. Huh? Oh no, I got a glitch problem happening. Huh.
We're getting a lot of crackle on your microphone too. I don't know if.
Huh, that's weird. I wonder why. It must just be picking up when my finger taps the screen.
Well, it sounds like it's using the microphone from the laptop itself. So every time you touch the laptop, getting a crackle from it.
Really? Do you think it's using that microphone? Oh, let me see. One. This right here, is that the tap you're talking about? Or this right here?
No.
Oh, that's weird.
It,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like whenever you're touching the laptop, it sounds
yeah. Okay.
shuffled. But
Huh. I wonder if there's like a static. I wonder if it's a static electricity issue on the screen because it's a touch screen. I'll use the mouse. Okay,
Right.
so I'm gonna see if this solves my problem. I got some work to do, I guess, on my program because it's not drawing. So I have to stop right there. It's trying to draw, but it can't.
I
Okay,
think that gives the idea though of what you're saying of it's the top of the wave that has that big splash as it
That's
falls
it.
forward.
That's
and then
it.
The
But you know what
smaller
we can
side's
do?
not really falling forward, so it doesn't have that splash as much.
I'm gonna download it and just reload. Let's go like this.
Oh,
I'm gonna go.
apparently it's only me that's getting the crackle, so it's just whatever.
Oh, okay. All right.
Our phones.
Well, that's good. We want to
Everyone
pay
else is
attention to those
fine.
things. Okay. Everyone else is fine. There. I just downloaded it and reloaded it so that I can keep messing with it. I'm going to get this color right here. Oh, set the image. Okay. Let's get this color and go in here and put that across the top right there. Like that. But we don't need a lot of it. You know, it's just where we're looking right at the sun through this wave. A little bit will do. Okay, we're gonna go like this, like that, and then let's put maybe just a teensy little bit of the put a teensy little bit of that color across the top. Okay, what do you think about that? How about that? You know, and then we're gonna blend this right here, kind of blend that color over into the wave. Maybe we get some of this color, more gradual illumination, just because you already had it in there. All right, so the point is that the anatomy of waves matters. It communicates motion and what's happening in the picture. And so just remember that when the high part of the wave falls over, that's when we see the whitewater. So if you're tapering a wave down, 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 then you don't see such a dramatic drop in the whitewater. If you have a dramatic drop in the whitewater, you probably also have a drop in the amount of whitewater. So I would recommend making a little bit less of it here as well, where it goes down, 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 based on how much is up here, you know, because that's it. I'm belaboring the point with this. Okay, I think that is a really beautiful piece. Thank you for sharing it. Let's move on. It is really good. Okay, we're going to go over here and look at next. Next, we're going to look at Jonathan Scott has a picture, but first we're going to do Kathy. She was first. An oldie I'll redo. Kathy has a picture of an oldie that she'll redo. Let's see this.
Mine's kind of cheating anyways, but let's see what Kathy has.
This is cool. We have a We have some nice effect of
Oh, cool.
a water drop on a leaf. That's very cool. Magnifying as it does that. That's a beautiful picture. I like that a lot. Okay, I want to see the redo. I want to see how that comes out. That is a really beautiful picture.
Look at the depth of field there with you got the front of that leaf perfectly sharp in focus, and then
Yeah.
the back of the leaf goes out of focus. I think it's something hard to capture in a painting.
Yeah, I agree. Really has a crisp 3D look. This is a great study on the reflectiveness of air when the transition from air to water. So you can see the green leaf reflecting off the top side of the inside of the water bead. So like the light from the green leaf goes up, hits the air, and then bounces 45 degrees toward us. And that's that green reflection. The air becomes a mirror, just like the underside when you're in a swimming pool and you look up, that whole top surface is a big mirror. So that's the effect of that green across the top. Well done, very nice. And I like the high contrast, vivid colors in there too. That's cool. There is a darkening effect. So when something magnifies, because light has an amount to it, there's an amount of light. And if you spread it out, it gets darker. If you condense it, it gets brighter. So when you magnify something, such as in a water bead, the darkening effect is real. That's a really nice capture of the darkening effect of spreading light out. It happens in caustics too. Very good study. I like that. Thank you for sharing this, Kathy. Beautiful piece.
Well, that's what happens with the dark spot under the rainbow as well. You get the
That's
all
it.
the light is
You're right.
changing and spreading, and
You're
so
right.
you end up with
Yeah, you got
these
different
dark areas in between the double rainbow and then a brighter area.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have less light bouncing inside of that. It's almost like the rainbow represents the edge of a sphere, and inside of the sphere is darker for some reason. That I'm guessing it's all about angles. I don't know. Hey, Jonathan, tell me about this picture.
Okay, so I wrote an algorithm that generates these trees for me.
Really?
So
You
I didn't
program
actually paint this. This is just
nice.
I wrote the algorithm to make these, and I was trying to make it not just make trees, but something that's like really aesthetically pleasing. So
Whoa, that is
I
a
threw it up there. I want your
fascinating project.
critique.
That's a
I want your
fascinating
critique on the
project.
aesthetics here.
Well, fascinating that you actually did this with an algorithm. I'm really intrigued by that. Really fascinating. So interesting that it did not capture the smaller tapering as branches grow further from the source.
Yeah, that's turned out to be a very difficult part of the algorithm, because every dot that you see on this picture,
It's all just dots, huh? It's all just
dots.
circles.
And they all looked at the painting that they're making, and then they say, where should I go? And so I start out with this horde of dots at the bottom of the tree, and they all have a destination they need to get to, but they also want to stick together. And so all the branching is all naturally done as the dots try to find their target, but also try to stick together with each other.
Yeah.
The tapering I've struggled with the tapering quite a bit, but yeah, that's definitely something to improve there.
Yeah, and I don't know how your algorithm was written, but that's one critique. I really like the organic nature of the branching, though. The actual branching is very organic. I'm curious why there seems to be a horizontal orientation on all of the leaves.
I coded it that way.
Interesting.
Well,
so that's intentional, getting kind of a horizontal orientation.
Yeah, so I actually have like 8 versions of trying to come up with how to make these trees and have it meet what my end goal is.
I suppose there are some trees that are kind of like that.
When I got to this version of it, if I took all these leaves away, the thing that stuck out to me is like, that's a coastal cypress. Like the way it had this.
Yeah.
The angles were perfect and the branching was perfect to be a coastal cypress. So I tried to do leaves that had that wispy horizontal.
Yeah. So what I would do is increase the difference between the darker green and the lightest green. I would just make it more dramatic change because it's a little bit flat for being. So this all looks like a really interesting 3-dimensional layout for the foliage. I would love to see it with higher contrast so that those greens look deeper. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
To see what that does.
That's an easy thing to fix. I can just
right, a few
RGB
numbers, right?
code on that.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Tapering, these dots are choosing where they go on their own, so telling them to choose to not be as narrow.
Making different criteria for the
but
decision.
Color is easy to change, so that'll be an easy one.
Yeah. I would focus on branching, and that's what I would do to improve the organic look of it. That's what I would do. Man, very fascinating project. That's so cool that you did that with an algorithm telling dots where to go. Fascinating. I want to hear more about that. Someday, I want to hear more.
Someday you and I can go into the I don't know if this is the live stream where people want to hear the coding and JavaScript side of art.
Oh, I think it's cool when you are tying it to real world observation, because that's a fascinating study. Okay, here we have one from Wendy, and while watching, ignore the smudge. Okay, this is done while watching. A black and white rainbow. We talked about it. Nice, very nice.
It's weird how life does that.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I would do. Great job on the lighter middle, but here's what I would do to this. Okay, I would take it and I would darken the sky so that I'm going to immediately get on my app and fix that glitch that makes it not draw. Anybody wanting to try this, I'm going to work on that right away. This is how I find out if things are working or not. And my picture is use it on the show. I'm going to put this in there, keep current dimensions. That's there. So if you want to save your original photo, if you want to download it and save it, you can save it the original size. Okay, I'm going to set that in there, and I'm going to take this color. We're going to take, actually, let's just take this color, the edge of the rainbow, use it, then darken it. So to darken it, we move Jonathan out of the way right here.
Goodbye.
And we go like this. We drag this down because it's just about all the way gray. I need it to be darker than the rainbow, right? But lighter than the trees. Okay, there we go. So here is what I would do. We can lighten it a little bit. We can lighten it a little. Let's undo that. And then let's move Jonathan. And move Jonathan again. Here, move him back over there.
You're always pushing me around, Joe. I'm just kidding.
A little bit. Yeah. Okay, I want a little bit lighter. Okay, we're going to go like this. Okay, we're going to color this in. It's kind of a brownish gray, isn't it? Yeah, because it was orange. Here, let's
maybe just
all the way gray. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, we're going to go like this. We're going to color this in. So this is the point of the picture, is that the rainbow is never darker than the background. It never is, because light does not block light. Oh, that's dark. We can't do that. We got to darken it. Got to darken it. Good job for doing a black and white rainbow after we just talked about what it might be like to do a black and white rainbow. Okay, I need it just dark enough so that the sky stays darker. Okay, and then we can kind of zoom out. We'll use our big smear tool to, let's go like this. Just kind of blend that. We'll blend that there.
And you know what? That makes it a lot more moody too, having the dark sky in there with the bright rainbow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm using my blender tool. Digital blenders are fun. There we go. There's our black and white rainbow. I'm curious. Now I want to look up black and white images or convert them myself to black and white to see, to see what they're like. That's it. And that's how we make it look like a light. Hey, nice study. Thanks for sharing this. That was cool. This one was From Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. That was very good. Okay, it's time for us to go. That's it for today, folks. We had a great time. Jonathan, thanks a lot for your help.
Hey, you're welcome.
Cool. Boy, good luck on that algorithm. I'm going to see if I can fix those couple little bugs in that app. And thanks, everybody, for being here. This was a really good time. Really good time. I hope it's helpful content. All right. Have a good weekend. Enjoy your Saturday.
See you, everyone.